There comes a moment in every life when comfort becomes a cage and you feel that fire inside that says, "You're meant for more." This is not just another motivational talk. This is your wake-up call. A reminder that average is over, excuses are dead, and the life you dream of. It's on the other side of discipline, hunger, and relentless belief. So if you're tired of waiting, tired of playing small, then lean in. Because what you're about to hear could flip the switch and unlock the version of you the world's been waiting for. Jim Rohn asked this question. Look at the people in your life and ask the question, what is this relationship doing to me? See, in order for you to go to the next level, there are some people you need to let go. Let us say together, let go, or be dragged. There are some people, because of their negativity, their emotional vampires, they will drain you. You want to be around people that you can learn from, that you can grow from. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough out of Atlanta said, if you're the smartest one in your group, you need to get a new group. Bless, can I change them? No. It's a full-time job changing yourself. There are some people that are comfortable being negative, comfortable being a volunteer victim. Some people are so negative they can walk into a dark room and begin to develop. Oh, behave, my medication wearing off now, you're talking about earning more money, you got to be serious. One sickness can wipe out a fortune. 95% of the people who filed bankruptcy last year did so because of medical expenses. People say money won't make you happy, but everybody wants to find out for themselves. Friend of mine, Rita Davenport, said, money ain't important, but it's right up there with oxygen. And let me tell you something, fellas. Even if you're as homeless as I am, if you got some money, women will find something cute on you. Oh, he's got earlobes like Tom Cruise. He's got a walk like Denzel Washington. I used to be so broke, I'd walk past a bank and trip the alarm. Creditors would call the house and my children would answer the phone and say, my daddy said he ain't home, and sometimes they would catch me on the phone, may I speak to Les Brown please? Sorry, but he's not here. You sound like Les Brown. Don't you go there, big boy. Oh my God. Red Fox said, money can't buy you happiness, but it can make a big down payment. Oh, this thing called life. Here's something else. Write this down. You're going to fail your way to success. There are people who look promising. They're going to disappoint you, hurt your feelings. There are people who should be there to encourage you, to motivate you. They're going to be the #1 members of the discouragement club. Before things get better for you, they're going to get real bad. When you have a dream, think it not strange that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will not, you might. You will have tribulations. How many of you know that's true? Raise your hands. Things are going to happen to you. And don't complain. Don't go around telling everybody. 80% don't care. 20% are glad it's you. Suck it up and keep on prospecting and make it happen. Life is happening to everybody. Everybody, let us say together, leap, and grow your wings on the way down. See, in order to control your destiny, you've got to be a risk taker. You've got to be willing to risk people talking about you. You've got to be willing to risk someone saying no. You've got to be willing to fail again and again and again. You're different. You're an entrepreneur. You're strange. You're not like everybody else. We live in a world where we're told more about our limitations than our potential. And so most people just can't see themselves doing better. But you're different. You see some things they can't see, and I encourage you, every one of you in this room right now. You're here for a reason. How many of you know people who should be here? Raise your hands, please. Yes, but you know what? They're in their rightful place. Their rightful place is where their thoughts have brought them. Their true place is where their thoughts can take them. Everybody is in their rightful place. So people are looking for ways. and I think it's important that you stay in your lane. I know what I do, MHM. I speak and I train speakers, and you help people to have events that will allow them to monetize their dream. You do the marketing. You help get the butts and the eyeballs in front of the computer and help them to begin to take their success and their profits to another level. I want to ask, how did you get into this? Thanks for asking. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. COVID was a part of this too because, for most speakers, as you well know less, it was all about trying to find someone who would host you on their stage. And that was the speaking game before COVID, right? Everyone went to a hotel or a conference center, or if they were as good as you, a stadium, and in order to speak to these massive crowds and impact as many people as possible. But when COVID hit, all of a sudden, as everyone well knows, we couldn't meet anymore, right? And at that time, I was in the middle of an event. We were about to have an event at a hotel. We had all these tickets sold, and no one could come. The hotel called us and said, "You can't have your event here." Wow. And you got to understand, when you have an event, for those of you who are speakers or desire to be speakers, someone putting on an event is spending tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or in some cases millions, to make it happen. Well, we had put a bunch of money down, and now we had to repay all the tickets. So I said to my partner, why don't we try and host the event on Zoom, online? And he laughed at me. Nobody's going to sit on Zoom for 2 or 3 days to have an event. That's absurd. And I said, well, we're going to refund them anyway, so we might as well try. If they don't like it, we'll give the money back. But let's see how we can orchestrate virtually what we were going to do live and in person. And so we did it. And the first event we tried, we had our biggest sales day ever. Wow, and we were wait a second, how is this possible? Because they actually sat through it, and we actually held their attention, and we thought, I wonder if this will work again. So we did it again, and it worked again. Then I thought, I wonder if it would work with other audiences, and we started doing virtual events. Now I'm in rooms and masterminds with different leaders, and it's the hottest topic among the top people in the speaker and marketing world. Everyone's doing events, because no longer do you need to pay hundreds of thousands or millions to do an event. You just need to gather people on Zoom, and it's changing the game. It most certainly has. They're even doing Broadway plays online. Amazing. Come on. We've gone from brick and mortar to click and order. People can be in the comfort of their home. No, you didn't. Go ahead and drop that. I had to drop that on you. Up in here. So people now have the chance to educate themselves, acquire knowledge, increase their value, and create unity, even though they're geographically separated from their team, culture, or organization. And you do all the work to get the eyeballs in front of the computer. Tell us about your process, and who would be interested in partnering with you, so you can do for them what you're doing for me. Well, I think everyone listening has seen someone online doing a virtual event. If you're paying attention, you're seeing ads. Tony Robbins just did a massive online event called The Challenge. Great speakers, aspiring speakers, even those with small audiences, are doing events now. And it's not a lack of awareness. I like to say for speakers, it's not a lack of desire that's stopping you. It's a lack of direction. There are really 4 parts to doing your own event. I found less for people trying to set big goals, like a 6-figure or 7-figure day. It starts with clarity. The first time I helped a client make $1 million in a day, let me show you what that looked like. You'd think I'd be jumping around screaming, right? I wasn't. Here's what I looked like, head in hands, completely still. Because when you do $1 million day, there's one question spinning in your head. What have I been doing my whole life? Think about all the time wasted, all the energy expended, for results way less than 1 million in a day. And people assume we had thousands on that call. No, we had 164 people. They say opportunity knocks on every door, but I believe, and you believe opportunity stands by silently, waiting for you to recognize it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're just joining us. This is Joe Aaron. He has a proven formula. He takes all the guesswork out of it. If you're ready to go to the next level, if you want to earn money on steroids with your next event and create a transformational experience, he's the person to help you do it. Tell them how they can get started. Well, many people come on something like this with you, Les, and you're so inspirational. I was talking to a friend today whose wife is struggling with cancer. He walks an hour a day listening to your recordings because you've touched so many lives. That's very kind. I want his number. I want to talk to him. I'll share it. Many people who feel a calling or purpose in life often imagine themselves on stage. They can see the crowd. They can feel the message they're meant to deliver. But so many of those speakers are waiting for permission. And I came to tell you today, you don't need permission anymore. You can make your own stage. The world has changed. You don't need permission. You need a decision. A decision to get your message out, not tomorrow, not someday, now. But the reality is that your income, your impact, and your influence are all connected. I would call them, they're in a codependent relationship. Your income will affect your influence will affect your impact, and so many times we don't want to care about the income. We're like, I'm just about the impact. But if you bring the money in, you're able to then pay for the distribution of your message at a wider scale in order to impact more people. Many people don't recognize the codependence of that relationship, and so they're not able to get their message out at the level that they'd really like to. And it's only because they're missing the understanding of that codependence. And so I'm on a mission to help people multiply movements that matter. And if your movement matters, you're going to need capital. How do I know? Because I went homeless 3 times trying to do it without money. Right, your movement matters. Then you not only have a desire, you have an obligation to make as much income as you can to grow your influence and impact more people than you ever thought possible. And the best, fastest, most successful way to do that in 2022 is with virtual events. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, I'm talking with a gentleman who I have a strategic partnership with, and I'm encouraging you to do the same if you want to get your message out and be able to have a large audience. Not just provide a venue for sharing information, but being able to create an experience that will transform people individually and collectively. And when it comes to putting on a virtual event, no one does it better than y'all. Get the butter from the duck. That's what I'm talking about. So I wonder, Les, who's made a decision. If you're listening to this right now, have you made a decision? Like legit. Sometimes, Les, I found myself in stages of my life where I lied to myself, and I told myself I was serious about it, but I didn't take the step. And the step is scary. The step right now is really simple. It's just go to Les for Speakers. Now when you say for speakers, you're talking about the number 4 or FOR, less FOR, less for speakers, right? And we'll have a link here so that you can click it too. Less for Speakers, FOR speakers in the plural.com, because less is for speakers. Les is on a mission to help speakers get their voice magnified and multiplied because we've got a world to change, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we do. And it's something that Steve Jobs said. He said, "The storyteller is the most influential person in the world." Storytellers are able to create a shift in the consciousness of people, to be able to penetrate the culture and to create a culture of love and harmony and people coming together, standing together, and creating a healing for the planet. And this is the time for you, all of us. Those of you who feel like, I've got a story, there's a movement that I believe in, and I want to use this platform to take me to that next level, to reach greater numbers of people. And nothing does it better than the system that Eileen and Joe have put together. And that's why I'm a part of them. And this is why I put my name and reputation on the line for them. Because they get the job done. They get the butter from the duck, and you got to get that butter from the duck. You don't want the duck leaving with his butter. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor serving your audience. Anything else I can answer for the audience for you? Well, some people ask, what does it cost? How do I open up the relationship? Because it's about partnerships today. People coming together, collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. How do people get involved and be able to leverage your knowledge, experience, and your achievements for themselves? Yeah, I think one of the success principles, or those of you who, for example, I was in a room this past weekend right near Las Vegas, and everyone in the room, less, had paid $150 to be in that room. Whoa, okay, so it was high-level achievers, people who were getting their message out. If I told you their names, many of you would know their names because they're serious, not just curious, about making the impact they feel called to make. And one of the things I learned from the men in that room, he talks about immersion. And one of the success principles, wherever you're at in your life, you may not be in a place where you can pay $150 to get in that room, but the success principle that everyone in that room understood and was willing to pay $150 for was that if I could get in the room with other people who are succeeding at a high level and immerse myself in their thinking instead of thinking my own thoughts, what if I could get immersed in the thinking of other people who are operating at the level that I want to operate at? And so the principle of immersion, I would say, is the first thing that I would recommend to everyone. And one of the ways you can immerse yourself into becoming a speaker who can host their own events and do big numbers, right, as many of our clients are doing 6, some of them 7 figures, some of them multiple 7 figures in a day. The way to do that is immerse yourself. Get in the room. Somebody say, get in the room. Get in the room, right. And so we're not asking you for $150 to get in this room, but we want people who are serious and not just curious. And that's why we said, you know what? We're not going to charge $100 like you do when you come to a live event. We're just going to charge $97, and when you come to this room, you get to immerse yourself. Eileen and I are in there. It's not just us, though. The network of other influencers, leaders, and people who are passionate about learning the skill there in the room, too. And it gives you an opportunity to immerse yourself in that room. get your questions answered so that you can start shifting your beliefs, start shifting your mindsets, start shifting your skill sets, so that you can execute on the play that is, again, the most successful play that's out there. When I was in that room, there were 13 or 15. I don't remember exactly 13 or 15 of us all in that room. 95%. There's only one person I can think of in that entire room who was not doing virtual events. It is the play. Yes, this has been a billion-dollar industry, and now it's evolving to a trillion-dollar industry rapidly. So those of you who are watching, those of you who are ready to leverage this system that Joe and Eileen have put together, it takes all the guesswork out of your being able to do a very successful virtual event. This is the opportunity, this is the time. Now's the time to take advantage of that and put your success on steroids and begin to leverage earning 6 to 7 figures in a limited time span and using the system virtually. It's exciting, and you got to be hungry when you look at the 8% Club Virtual. All right, well, how is it that 92% of agents fail? What is the difference between the 92% and that 8%? And the difference is the mindset. And so what is necessary is that we have to begin to take them through an experience, that they come to believe it's possible. And give you an example, please. When I went to Dr. Alfred Gone, oncologist, and he said, "Mr. Brown," he said, "you have prostate cancer and your PSA is 2/400. I said, "What does that mean?" He said, 1 to 4 is normal, and it's metastasized to 7 areas of your body. Now mind you, our life is built on disruptions, transformation, and choices. So I asked, "Is there anything else?" He said, "Yes." I said, "What is it?" He said, "And you're ugly too." I said, "You didn't call me ugly. This is serious." He said, "You're ugly, but you got this." He said, "I never tell my patients they're terminally ill. What I say is that my knowledge, my abilities, and my skills have terminated. I determine the diagnosis. You and God determine the prognosis. You got this." And because of that, he disrupted my thinking. Cancer is the most feared word in 7 different languages. I left his office not with a heart full of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and sound mind. And many people, in a fearful situation, they forget everything and run. But there are some people in a fearful situation, they face everything and rise, and so those people, those 8%, those are people who face fear and rise, they go within. And so what I had to do now was I had to work on me and my belief. This is 29 years ago, and so I had to work on me. I'm here in Atlanta. Dr. Taha from Pakistan said, "I've never seen anybody survive stage 4 cancer for 29 years. He said, 'You're a real one. I want you to talk to my father.' So mindset is everything right now. Everyone needs to have a ritual, that they're listening to something to put something in their mind. Whatever you hear the first 20 minutes when you wake up in the morning affects the spirit of your day. And so this is a time that you want to train your mind to serve you. If you don't train it, be ye not conformed to this world. Don't think like everybody else. Then how do we avoid that? Put the stuff in your head that the majority of people are not putting in their head. Most people don't take the time to program their own thoughts, and so I don't watch the media. Why? Because it does not serve me. I only listen to things that are positive, that are purposeful, that's productive, and that's profitable. That's going in the direction of where I'm going. Because in this space where we are, the reason that most people, those 92% of people, don't achieve and do what the 8% are doing is because they are being interrupted by what I call mass weapons of destruction in terms of distractions. They are distracted, they are not working on themselves, they're not focused on themselves, and so as a result it pollutes your power. As a result, it compromises and blurs your vision of yourself. That 8%, they're focused. That 8%, they're disciplined. That 8%, keep thine eyes single and thy whole body will be full of light. That 8%, they're hungry. And so in order to break out, all of us have greatness within us. But the majority of people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65 because they go through life being focused more on the distractions rather than on their destiny, on their dreams, on the things that they want to achieve. I just turned 76 February the 17th, and one of the things, I looked at my journey and my son asked me, he said, "How did you get here?" I said, "You know, I didn't look to the right, I didn't look to the left." And a lady, she interviewed me, and he was listening to the interview. And at the end of the interview, she said, "Wow," she said, "you're 76 and your children know your face. These are my kids behind me because my goal is to build a legacy. A good man leaves a legacy for his children and for his children's children." When the Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply," I took him seriously. Yes, yes, you did. Hey, whatever, but I said, she said to me, "Your children know your face." And she was paying me a compliment, but she had no idea. It was a punch in the gut, because I don't know my father's face. I've never seen my father or my birth mother. I was born in an abandoned building on a floor in a poor section of Miami, Florida, called Liberty City with my twin, Competition, and many times you don't know how strong you are until you have to be strong. I like the Lion King, you're more than that which you have become. At 92%, they are more than that which they have produced. And this is a new place where they have to know it's possible that they can do more, and it's necessary that they raise the bar on themselves. They have to focus, and they have to be a non-negotiable person, a no-nonsense person, and dig deep and do what's necessary, looking for ways to win, to improve, to expand, and to serve the customers that are out there waiting for them. And have a sense of mission. If you're casual about your dream will become a casualty now, because everybody's out there now that wants to make it, and the ones who will break through, the ones who are going to do exceptionally well, they're hungry. All of us at the end of the day are the same. This world is full of people with broken hearts, empty pockets, and failures. And so as we look at ourselves, we have these disruptions. We have to accommodate them with our transformation. And then we have choices. Choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. Robert Frost said, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I selected the one less traveled by." My favorite book says the road that you travel is narrow. Why? Because most people are living a misplaced life. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. We are supposed to be productive. That's why we're here. We were chosen out of 400 million sperm. God had a lot of choices up in here, up in here. We were chosen to produce. And most people, they are just going through life casually, not taking into account that we have an expiration date. We are supposed to be top performers. An alligator can't be anything but an alligator. A tree can't be anything but a tree. But you and I, we can always transform ourselves. And so this is a time of transformation. At the end of the day, what separates us all are the choices that we make. Yes, people talk about time management. You can't manage time. All you can do is manage yourself, the choices that you make, the effort that you put on taking your performance to the next level, the focus, the discipline. Where focus goes, energy flows and productivity increases dramatically. But if you allow yourself to be distracted, I don't answer a telephone call unless it's positive, unless it's purposeful, unless it's productive, or unless it's profitable. Why, I don't have time for that. No, I've got customers that I have to take care of. I have my physical needs to take care of, my spiritual needs, my family needs. I have 15 grandchildren and 5 great-grandsons. All of us are here, I strongly believe, to live a life that will outlive us. That's why we're here. Harris Mann said, "We should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind." And so, when you have a mindset that you're not just an agent, you are a messenger of hope. You're giving people some options on how to protect themselves from this thing called life, and it's better to have a strategy and protection and not need it than to need it and not have it. There's an old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. However, if you have the mindset and you have effective communication skills, you can create the thirst where they want to drink, where they want to do business with you, and people can smell commission breath. This is a time you want to build relationship capital. People want to know, do you care about me? When you present whatever you're presenting, they're asking 3 questions. Who are you? What do you have? And why should I care? And so when you answer that succinctly, and you answer in a way speaking from your heart to create trust and confidence and to demonstrate competency, that I'm the one that you need to help you make some decisions that will be in your best interest and your family's interest. Because I have your interest, Zig Ziglar said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so in creating that relationship that's major today, that's major. More important relationship capital, because that will increase your referral business and your income. Yes, yes it will. Yes, it will. Well, happy belated birthday, by the way. Thank you so much. You're welcome. That's amazing. I love the 4 Ps, by the way. Positive, purposeful, productive, and profitable. I will make sure I never forget that. That's unbelievable. You and Brian Tracy, who we just had on, both talk a lot about taking personal responsibility. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Yes, seems like that's something that you've embodied your whole life. Yes, because George Bernard Shaw said, the people that make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. This thing called life is hard, and we can do hard. If you do what is easy, be a slacker. If you do what is easy, come up with excuses, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, find a way to win, be focused and disciplined, provide more service than you get paid for, your life will be easy. So good, so good. You said, find a way to win. My father's always said that as a kid, winners find a way to win. No matter what, yes, they don't settle for it. They don't settle for losing. It's a non-negotiable. My first goal was to buy my mother a home. That's what I wanted to do. You have to find something that is your why. Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can endure almost anyhow. So I wanted to buy my mother a home, and I did that. I accomplished that. There are people who said, you're not going to be able to do that. My brothers and sisters who could have helped and didn't participate. And I ignored them because I learned a long time ago what people think about you is none of your spiritual business. I just stayed focused, held the vision of what I wanted to achieve. And I realized something that Art Williams said. All you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is enough, but make sure you do all you can do. Most people don't give it everything they have. Most people, there's no line for making cold calls. Most people are discouraged when they encounter no or rejection. I built my career on no and rejection. You make no your vitamin. That's what that 8% do. They're not bothered by that. They go to the next. Somebody says no. That means that brings you a step closer to a yes. Over 3 billion people on the planet. Name of the game is TTP Talk to People. And if that doesn't work, TTMP Talk to More People. Yes, that's what the 8%ers do. There's nothing magical about it. They're hungry. They have a standard, a sense of deservingness, and they're not going to settle for being average. Average is over. If you want to make it today, you've got to raise the bar on yourself. When you're pursuing your greatness, you don't know what your limits are, so you act like you don't have any. You're the first one to show up and the last one to go to bed at night knowing something you didn't know the day before. That's right. Man, I could listen to you all day. Thank you. If someone doesn't leave ready to run through a wall, talk to more people, and be motivated after this man, something's wrong with them. Bless. At the end of the day, there's one truth that separates the dreamers from the doers. It's not about talent, not about luck, it's about the choices you make and the standard you set. Life will hit hard. People will doubt you. But if you stay hungry, stay focused, and stay faithful to your mission, you'll become a force no one can ignore. So raise the bar, talk to more people, serve deeper than ever, and remember, you weren't chosen to be average. You were chosen to bear much fruit, live a life that outlives you, make your name a legacy, and don't stop until your story inspires millions.